Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing a top 10 most worn fragrances autumn and winter 2023 to 2024 video. Marvelous. That is right, my friends. I am back once again with another video. And this time, it is a top 10. I don't do many top 10s on the channel. But this is one of the top 10s I do. Do. I have tallied everything up. And I can now present to you my most worn fragrances between September and February of 2023 to 2024. Looking at these fragrances, I can't really see much of a pattern. I did try to wear more ambers, and there's at least one amber in here, but they've all got that more ambery feel, you know. They've got that more ambery feel. I wore a lot of different fragrances as well, although the two at the top were clearly ahead of all the other ones, I'll say that. But let's get started, shall we? And in 10th position, we start with a classic from the channel. Although that's not how you pronounce it. This is Antaeus from Channel. Chanel, obviously. This is one of the great fragrances of the 20th century. One of the great fragrances of the 80s for me. Just one of Jacques Polge's best creations for Chanel, especially in the men's line. You know, it is leather, castoreum, rose. It's floral. It's got that ever so slightly animalic touch. It's very chypre kind of fragrance, but dark, masculine. It's still available from Chanel, although they insist on putting their prices up every year, so all that stuff's getting more and more out of view for us commoners. The performance is absolutely amazing. And my only regret is that I couldn't get to wear it more. But if you've been following along with the channel, you will know I have sold off a lot of perfumes. So hopefully I will get to wear this more and more as time goes by. I also have a vintage version, but I do love the modern version still, so that's a good thing. Next up is number 9. And number 9 is from Eugene's brand, and it is Barm. This is Kakaoa. It is iris. It is fresh. It's slightly ambery. I don't talk too much about this because I did get this bottle off Eugene for free, and I don't think that, I mean, for all the times I have said that people getting stuff for free affects their opinion, and I don't think that people who get free bottles should be necessarily going out and telling other people to spend money on perfumes, to be perfectly honest. So I won't do that, but I can tell you that this was the 9th most worn fragrance in my autumn and winter rotation, and it certainly has iris and Kakaoa in it, amongst other things. Next up, number 8. Number 8 is one of my favourite fragrances. All of these are top fragrances to me. This is Amen. This is, in fact, Angel Men. It's not Amen, it's Angel Men. So this is the original formulation with the slightly greener juice. I don't know if you can see that. You might be able to see it. I don't know. That is some top sauce. It's so strong. It's very verbose. It's very big. Sweet. Patchouli. Caramel, coffee, lavender, mint. All of that kind of stuff. Very much in the... This came out the year after Malle. You know, so it's in that kind of synthetic, sweet nature, kind of big perfume, you know? But I love this stuff. Absolutely love it. It's not typically my type of scent. That type of scent isn't really my kind of thing, but there are a couple that stand out. This and La Malle, the Essence de Parfum, are my big sweet fragrances, you know. Performance is obviously massive. Before the L'Oreal takeover, when they butchered the Amen line, all of the formulations and bottles of that were brilliant, but don't buy the ones that just say Mugler on. And from the ridiculous to the sublime. And this is Patchouli Noisette, number 7. This is the latest release from the house of Les Indomptables, who I believe are probably the best niche house in the world today. And Antoine Lee is probably the best active perfumer in the world today. This is very dark. Dura Rose said to me this had a Middle Eastern type vibe to it, the way it's set up. And he's right, it does have that kind of dark, woody, almost oudy kind of quality. It's rich, but it's also got this kind of, there's almost this kind of gasoline type texture to it. Rather than a smell of gasoline, it's got like that kind of texture to it, you know, where it's very kind of, you know, when you get it on your hands, gasoline evaporates very quickly and it leaves like those kind of mirages as it evaporates, you know, with the vapor coming off. Vapor's kind of like the word I'm looking for. It's got that kind of gasoline vapor kind of vibe to it. It wears very differently. I've still not figured this fragrance out yet. And part of the reason it's on this list is because I was wearing it to try and figure it out completely. I really like it. The noisette in it is very subtle. The nutty kind of, there's a whole story about how they extracted the noisette note, which I would encourage you to go and look up because it's very, very interesting. And it's a very interesting fragrance as well. The patchouli they use is very particular. And there's a story about the patchouli as well, because patchouli is one of those notes that's in almost every perfume, but we don't know much about it in and of itself. So I would encourage you to listen to Remy. I think he did an interview or one of the masterclass videos on Persilase's channel. Okay, next we have another Middle Eastern type perfume. And this is my bottle, but I was wearing my decant, so I was trying to wear my decant out so I could get to the bottle. And it's no surprise to see this here. I might throw this on randomly in the summer because I think you can do that with ouds. I mean, the Arabs wear their big ouds in the summer. Obviously, it's really hot there, so I'd like to try and do that once or twice, see how it is. But this is The Night by Frederick Malle. Absolutely outrageous perfume. Literally outrageous. Although Frederick Malle has got a perfume called Outrageous, so it's not literally outrageous. But this is oud, stinky Hindi oud, smells like cow fields, shitty, fecal kind of oud with rose, and it's one of the best of the genre. It's very, for a stinky Hindi Eastern oud, indie oud, it's probably the most palatable to the Western nose because it's made by someone like Dominic Ropion. Dominic Ropion, of course, being one of the best and most prolific and accomplished perfumers of the last 40 years, has made this perfume and made it extremely well. The performance is massive. It will last for fucking at least a day. On clothes, it will last multiple washes. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. Is it worth what they're asking for? It's over £1,000 now. I didn't pay that for it. I managed to get 20% off when it was cheaper anyway, so I'm very grateful for that. I don't think it's worth that, but I'm glad I have it and I really do enjoy it. So, something to think about. Probably my most expensive perfume. Not in absolute terms, but mil for mil, twice the price of my next most expensive one. Okay, now we are into the top 5. Number 5 probably couldn't be more different, to be fair. This is from Anick Goutal, and this is Ambra Fétiche. Ambra Fétiche from Anick Goutal. I absolutely fucking love this stuff, and I loved wearing it. This is your kind of normal, typical amber, right? With a slight biscuity feel. It's got this slightly biscuity, like digestive. I don't know if you have digestives in America or other parts of the world, but we have digestive biscuits in this country. They're like, I don't know, like wholemeal type biscuits. They're quite nice if you get they're quite homely, really good with a cup of tea. But it's got that kind of vibe in it, plus the vanilla and the labdanum. And then in the base, there is just this massive Russian leather note. Very subtle birch, very subtle leather, castoreum type of leather in it. Not suede, leather, definitely, but it gives it this edge, which makes this one of the best wears. Honestly, wearing this is one of the best ambers there is. I absolutely love this. It is beautiful. It's so well made, as all the Anick Goutal perfumes are. Tastefully done. Nothing over the top. Nothing that is reaching beyond its limits. Perfectly tuned, but also potent. Smell this all day, no problem. Absolutely overjoyed to have this, and I have another bottle in the pretty little, the little butterfly. It's like a round bauble with a butterfly stopper in the top. But I'm glad I've got this bottle because I don't have to dig into that one now until I've used this one up, which won't be long if I keep wearing it like I did in autumn and winter. Okay, number 4. Number 4 is a classic and nothing new to the channel. You know it, I know it, as my favourite perfume. And this is Balenciaga Pour Homme. Absolutely love this. I will never not love this. I have plenty of backups to keep me going forever, which I am fucking glad of, because if I run out of this, there may very well be a mental health section order, You know, I might just fall apart. I get this black currant plum type of note in it. I get the cinnamon, oak moss, honey. It's just got a bit of everything. It's so strong and smells so good. And there's nothing like it around at the minute. If you were to bring this out in a niche bottle or a pre-veil line bottle, you would be paying the thick end of £1,000 for it. I'm telling you. Anything that has this type of quality these days, this was a designer perfume in the 90s. For God's sake, what happened to us? You know? These are still pop up every now and then on eBay. Under £300, brand new. For 100ml, you will not find anything better on the market for that money. You may find stuff that you like more. Your taste might be different than mine. But as a composition, it was made by Gerard Anthony, who is one of my very favourite perfumers. Almost everything he's done, I love. Allegedly one of, if not the first instance of oud used in Western perfumery. And if it is, I'm not sure it's been topped. In fact, I would go so far as to say it is the high watermark of Western oud, if it has oud in it. But I don't know about that. Smarter men than me have said that it has, so I'll leave it to them. It wasn't featured in any note listings, but that was before people became interested in knowing absolutely everything about their perfumes, you know? Anyway, we're into the top 3 now, and they're all absolute bangers. Well, I mean, not that the rest of them aren't, you know. I've had some stunners in here. In fact, they're all stunners. Of course they are. I wore them loads. This next one is probably my most worn perfume that I've had since I started doing the channel, and this is Tobacco Oud. I love this stuff so much. To me, it's probably the last great Tom Ford. Everything he's released since this has been less than this in terms of quality, in terms of vision, in terms of execution, everything. This is one of the quintessential Tom Fords. This is as quintessentially Tom Ford as Tuscan leather for me. I love this stuff. It's bold, it's dark, it's quality. I don't think it's got any oud in it. I say touch wood, not even touch wood. I personally don't sense any oud in it. I do sense fucking a huge slug of patchouli, which I really like, a really high quality patchouli. There may be the scantest remark of like oud, you know, where they put like a drop in a vat so they can say that it's in there. Maybe. I don't know. Allegedly. Don't sue us. I don't want to end up in a hostage video like Mr. Terence Hughes. The performance is amazing. I've never heard anybody in real life say they dislike it. Bold, beautiful, handsome, big perfume. Could be worn by anyone. Ambery, rich, dense. One of my favourite of the century. One of my favourites ever. I don't know why I'm saying of the century. One of my favourites ever. Love it. Okay. So the top 2, as I said, were clear as far as how much I had worn these perfumes over the course of autumn and winter, and they really were almost twice as much as the next as Tobacco Oud. In some cases, the ones lower down on the list 3 or 4 times as much, and it was really just a case of which one was going to finish on top. But in second place, one of my favourite discoveries of last year, Melt My Heart by Strangelove. Oud, Orris, chocolate. Stunning. Musky, warm. Gorgeous. The price point, despicable. Absolutely outrageous. That's not the perfumer's fault. That's not anyone's fault apart from the brands, and they should never have marketed at that price point. They're trying to say something about their perfumes there without actually saying it, you know. No doubt that the ingredients are top quality. No doubt that the blending is top quality. The bottles aren't top quality. They're stock bottles. And for that kind of money, you should have a nicer bottle. But by the by, you don't wear the bottle. Do you know what I mean? But this, to me, I've defined this as being, this to me is what indie perfumers think they are making when they drop massive amounts of Orris butter and oud and all these other outrageous materials into perfumes. But they're not, because this outshines them a millionfold. L'Eau de Miel is one of the best modern perfumers making modern perfumes, you know. He's very big on transparency. He's very big on exposing the wrongdoings of the business, which are myriad. So good for him. But this stuff's fabulous. You surely only buy this on sale or at discounters or whatever, because the nature of the prices of these online, you're talking 800 quid a bottle, and it's not. They're not. It's the same as the night. They're not worth that. But they are fantastic. This is a fabulous perfume, and I love wearing it. And number one, I'm sure you have guessed what it is. If you are initiated on the channel, I'm sure you know what it is. I still have this in my spring and summer rotation, and I'm pretty sure that's because I can't bring myself to put it away yet. This is my favourite discovery of last year. It's featured at number one on another one of my list videos, the most recent one I made. And without any further ado, this is Mer Ardente by Anick Goutal. This is incredible perfume for me. I love this stuff. It has a cola vibe, which I really enjoy. It has it's myrrhy, it's ambery, it's rich. It's not too dense. It sticks around all day. It's resinous. It's fresh. It's brilliant. It's from the same line as Ambra Fétiche. One of Anick Goutal's finest, in my opinion, although I'm sure there are some other Anick Goutal fans out there who will disagree. I love this stuff. Absolutely love it. And I'm so glad I've got it, and backups, so I don't have to worry about ever being without, fortunately. And that is it, my friends. This has been my top 10 most worn, a factually correct list based on fact, in fact, rather than some arbitrary idea plucked out of my arsehole. This is in fact what I wore in order of how many times I wore it. I hope you have enjoyed this video, friends, and I will see you all again soon. Goodbye.